Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rav Shmuel, Rabbi Stephen. And every once in a while, as you can see, I like to do one of these videos, one of my 10-minute Torahs, wearing kind of like my gear, to fill in and my talit after got done davening Shachrit. I do this every morning pretty much. If nothing, if I'm pressed for time, sometimes I'll just throw on it, fill in the talit. I'll do the Shema. I'll do the 18 benedictions, the Shemona Esrei, which we called it the Amidah, and the Aleinu, the adoration, and then go. But there's something really special that I personally feel when I do this. It just feels really good. It feels proper. It feels right. I feel like I'm doing, something that's really meaningful and inspiring. Just kind of want to, lead by example, so to speak. So I want to thank everybody who came out yesterday for Saturday morning service, and those of you that joined us on Zoom. Unfortunately, things happen every now and then, and life isn't perfect. And if we're having problems with our router and we can't get on Zoom, but thank you to Stephen, for being able to attach your phone to um, our Wi-Fi so that we were able to get a signal and we were able to send it to you. So thank you very much for that. And thank everybody for being part of the 53rd anniversary of my bar mitzvah. It was very meaningful. And thank you, Dad, for joining us. Glad everybody got to meet my father. So, okay. Other than that, same old story with the vaccinations, folks. I know that it's become the idea has become a lot more. Some people don't want to get vaccinated. I understand that, but we've got this Delta variant rearing its head, and we're starting to talk seriously about whether we're actually going to continue to be able to have live services, or whether we're going to have to increase our social distancing. So, folks, do what you have to do, please. Judaism says you need to take care of your body, you need to take care of your health, and unfortunately, sometimes that's part of it. So, that's all I'm going to say. So, okay, Parsha Reah, as we proceed through Deuteronomy. Now, Parsha Reah, we start to get more involved in actual commandments. Remember, Moses has been talking to this new generation. He's kind of giving them proverbial pep talk. That's kind of what it is. Giving them advice, telling them how to handle things when they get into the promised land, telling them that they're going to go in. God's going to be with them, and they're going to be able to conquer and settle the land. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work, but you're going to get rewarded for it. So if you notice, in the last two portions, this is the fourth portion of Deuteronomy. The first portion, Devarim, Moses came down, it was his first discourse. He introduced, everybody to the concepts of Judaism, and that God was watching them. In the second portion, Hanan, we had the Ten Commandments, we had the Shema, we had the first paragraph of the Shema, the Ahavta. This past week in portion Ikev, which is basically, observe the small commandments along with the larger ones. Don't leave any of them out. Don't cherry pick. Do not decide which ones you're going to follow and which ones you aren't. And then at the end of the portion, we had the second paragraph of the Shema. Whereas the first paragraph of the Shema, the V'ahavta, it introduces the commandments. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. In other words, you've made a commitment to the covenant. Now stick to it. Do for God, and God will do for you. And the you is in the singular. When we get to the second paragraph of the Shema, as opposed to the V'ahavta being the paragraph of mercy, now it's reward and punishment. If you do all the commandments, if you attend to them, then the rain will come in its proper time. You'll be able to reap the rewards of your harvest, etc., etc. And then it's the same commandments about putting the tefillin on and putting the mezuzot up, but this is all in the plural. So we're not just responsible for ourselves in attending to the commandments, but we're also responsible for each other as a community. Very important. Okay, along with that comes remember to Be kind to the widow and the orphan and the righteous stranger among you. They're struggling. Be kind to them, and God will be kind to you. Why doesn't God be kind to them and just skip the middleman? To give us the opportunity to do God's work, to do tzedaka. Now, tzedaka means justice. We interpret it as charity. But you know what? It's the same word. It's a concept word for a reason. When you're doing charity, you're doing justice. Now that we have Re'ah, now we start to get into the meat. Now that we've got this introduction about making sure we attend to God's commandments. Now, Moses starts out by saying, I give you today a blessing and a curse. Now, ultimately, we're going to have the Levites standing on two mountains, Mount Ebal and Mount Gezer, and they're going to pronounce blessings and curses. And it's kind of like, there's two sides to every coin, and you get to choose. Here's your blessings, here's your curses. Now, some sages say that it's not just what they're going to pronounce as the Israelites go into the land, but it's also basically saying if you attend to the commandments and you attend to the covenant, things will work out. If you don't, things aren't going to work out. Now, the Torah puts it down as black and white. You attend to the commandments, life will be good. If you stray, then life won't be good. But of course, we all know that life isn't so cut and dry. But in the midst of that, we are also warned, because remember, Moses in the last portion in Ekev said, well, I went up, I got the Ten Commandments, I came down, there was a golden calf waiting for me, we destroyed it, I destroyed, and in a rage, I destroyed the first set of tablets, went back up again, spent another 40 days and 40 nights without eating and drinking, brought you down another second commandments, and, that's what you have before you, you're a stiff-necked people. So, when you're doing the commandments, you're going to be tempted to stray because you're a stiff-necked people. You're going to see what these idol worshipers are doing, and this is why you need to drive them out of the land so you don't get tempted. And what's the temptation? Because a lot of these pagans have founded their religions and their rites and their rituals on accommodating, on appeasing the body temptations. Having lust, God forbid they were doing, or heaven forbid, I don't mean to use God's name in vain, but I mean heaven forbid, they were sacrificing their own people to appease the wind, the stars, the trees. It's absurd. And what Moses is telling them is that, of course, you may not be tempted to kill your own children for the sake of appeasing a natural force, but look at what happened when you were in the wilderness and the Midianites sent their daughters there to seduce you into immorality. It was very pleasurable. We have mechanisms in the Torah that allow you to, attend to your bodily temptations, but do it in a proper way. Not only that, but we also have a redo of the laws of kashrut. Don't cook a kid in its mother's milk is the end of it after we've given the laundry list of what you can eat and what you can't eat. Because remember that old saying, you are what you eat. What you put into your body becomes part of your body. And remember, God has said you can eat meat whenever you want. As far as the offerings go, that's going to be at a place that I'm going to show you. Not there yet. But no private altars. But if you want to eat meat, yeah, you can eat meat as long as you do it. You kill the animal in the right way, which is the Shemitta, which is, the cutting of the neck and the vein where it just numbs the animal and kills it instantly, drain all the blood. And here's what you can eat and what you can't eat. Now, people have speculated for millennia, literally thousands of years, why some animals and why not? Why a cow and not a pig? Why a chicken and not a raven, for example? Not that anybody wants to eat a raven, but they say that this is a hukah. It's a decree that the animals that we're allowed to eat are spiritually commensurate with our own spirituality. And that's the reason. And that's the only reason we need to know. You can speculate till literally the cows come home, right? But that's what we do. It also talks about being kind again, and this can't be said often enough, being kind to the widow, the orphan, and the Levite that has no share of their own. That's why they mention the tithes. Tithe, remember, being the I believe the Greek word for tenth. So you're giving a tenth of what you earn for the upkeep of the temple, for the upkeep of the ministers, and the upkeep of those that have a tough time doing for themselves. Finally, we also have the idea of the Shemitah year, the year of release. That's what Shemitah means. At 7 years, not only are loans forgiven, but also anybody who is a bondsman to you is released. Now, people might say, well, what happens to my money if they haven't paid me off? And they haven't paid it all back in full. And they say, don't worry, God will take care of you. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. God will take care of you. We're looking forward to this week. And I won't be in Wednesday or Thursday. I'll be observing. I'll be celebrating my birthday. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for listening, and we will see you soon.